Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins on Skid Row with three Motown singers functioning like a Greek chorus. They appear throughout the film to narrate the depressing lives of these unfortunate New Yorkers, so don't get alarmed when they wander into a scene. At a struggling florist, the owner Mr. Mushnik hasn't sold so much as a fern today, while his bumbling employee keeps breaking all the pots. The lover of exotic plants Seymour stays in a tiny room below the flower shop, while his co-worker and woman of his dreams lives right across the street. Audrey's a breath of fresh air in this depressing town despite being stuck in an abusive relationship with a boyfriend who gives her black eyes. He's a wealthy dentist named Orrin who loves his job because he gets to inflict pain on people and has a shrine in his office dedicated to his mother. Mushnik talks about closing down the flower shop, so Audrey brings up the plant that Seymour found at the market the other day. He's never seen anything like it before and found it after a solar eclipse, but only the audience is privy to it beaming down from space. He's named it Audrey 2, which gets this sound of excitement and response from Audrey 1. Before placing it on the windowsill to attract customers, but Mushnik thinks that it's never going to work. Within seconds, a passerby enters to ask about the odd plant in the window, and upon learning that it isn't for sale, he purchases some flowers instead. This cycle happens for the entire day, so Mushnik is overjoyed that he doesn't have to close down the business and wants to celebrate. Audrey 1 already has a dental appointment with the boxer, while 2 has begun to wither, so Mushnik tasks Seymour with fixing it. He spends all night trying to nurse Audrey 2 back to health with the usual fertilizers until pricking his finger on a rose thorn and discovering the secret. The carnivorous little plant can only survive on blood, so Seymour reluctantly gives it a few drops of his own to keep the boss happy. Overnight, Audrey 2 spurts leaves and quadruples in size, so the flabbergasted Seymour takes it down to the local radio station to get out the news. While waiting with the other oddities, he tries to take a bite out of some woman's butt and needs to be restrained before getting them both in trouble. With the help of radio host Wilkinson, the public learn about the mysterious plant and business picks up even more at the flower shop. While Seymour wanders around pale from all the blood loss, we get a scene of Audrey heading home with her arm in a sling courtesy her boyfriend. She's confronted about her low self-esteem by the Greek chorus who, when not breaking the fourth wall, play three nosy destitutes. Audrey thinks that because she used to be a stripper she deserves to be treated like crap and goes home to daydream about the idyllic suburban life that she'd prefer to have. She clearly has feelings for Seymour, and this feel-good sing-along moment contrasts great with this bum dragging his feet. Despite becoming sickly and weak, Seymour doesn't reveal the secret behind Audrey 2's massive size and just continues to keep feeding it. Audrey suggests that he gets his own place now that he's making money, and despite the whole daydream, she still rejects Seymour when he asks her out. It's only because she's afraid of Orrin, which is understandable when you see how he rides his bike and huffs nitrous oxide on a regular. Seymour sees firsthand how he talks to Audrey as she's made to shut up, stand to the side, and even give his bike a push whenever he needs. They depart for what I'm sure is going to be a lovely date, and when Seymour closes up the shop he notices that the massive Audrey 2 has collapsed. It can now talk in perfect English and requires more food as it can no longer live on just a few drops of blood. Audrey 2 promises Seymour everything that he could ever desire, including the girl of his dreams, in exchange for a whole human to eat. It sings about all the things it can offer, but Seymour refuses to murder somebody just to turn them into plant food. Fortunately, Orrin returns from his date shouting at Audrey for falling off the motorbike and takes her inside for some silhouetted assault. The enraged Seymour now agrees with the devil on his shoulder that Orrin looks very plant foody, and the next day visits his office with a gun. The patient before him is a masochist named Arthur who's excited about meeting Orrin for the first time as he's heard a lot about his methods.
Comfy?
Trying to inflict excruciating pain with his array of tools, Arthur actually just enjoys receiving oral torture and screams for more. Unable to find any pleasure in this, Orrin just throws the satisfied patient out of the clinic and drags Seymour into his office to take out his frustration. It isn't enough to just stick holes in him, so Orrin adorns his custom-made gas mask to provide him with a constant stream of nitrous. He giggles uncontrollably, so Seymour sees this as a good opportunity to draw his gun, but he's unable to pull the trigger. Fortunately, this dude's an idiot and the mask malfunctions, causing Orrin to die of asphyxiation, while Seymour lets it be known that it's for Audrey. Now for the other Audrey, he drags the corpse all the way to the flower shop where Tui requests that it be dismembered for easy consumption. Seymour reluctantly drags it down to his apartment and chops it up with an axe, but is witnessed by Mushnik, who runs away in terror. After hand-feeding dinner to the hungry plant, Seymour just sits awake all night shaken by what he's done. The next morning, police officers break the news to Audrey about Orrin's sudden disappearance, so Seymour goes out to comfort her. She feels responsible because she had been praying that something would happen to him, while Seymour just reminds her that he was a douchebag anyway. A tearful Audrey reveals she first met Orrin while stripping, which explains the fun bags but not why she's so self-hating. Seymour insists that she had a better man in her life all along, and they bust out into a song about love before ending it with a kiss. Having got the woman of his dreams, Seymour returns to the flower shop where the plant continues to open doors for him, and not just metaphorically. Later that night he's accused of being an axe murderer by Mushnik, who doesn't suspect the plant to be involved because it's a plant. He leads Seymour upstairs at gunpoint and hasn't reported him to the police yet, as he wants to know the secret to making Tui so big. Proposing that he let Seymour go in exchange for the information, the singers suddenly enter with the unfortunate song called Supper Time. Seymour backs Mushnik up towards the gaping mouth of Audrey II, who's grown so large that it can consume the entire florist. In one gulp it swallows him down, and Seymour continues to become a celebrity, gracing magazine covers and receiving offers for his own gardening show. Audrey II's already in need of another meal, so Seymour realizes that its eating habits have gotten out of control. He asks Audrey to marry him and run away together, so she agrees, and that night Seymour tries to sneak out past Tui. It wakes up demanding food again, so the owner puts his foot down by saying that he'll only get the plant some ground beef from the butcher's. He's begun to feel guilty for his part in Mushnik's death, so Tui agrees to eating cow instead of human. But when Seymour leaves the shop, it displays full autonomy of its vines to grab the phone and call Audrey I. She's already dressed for her wedding and is quite amazed that the plant can talk, but doesn't think much of its diet. When she's close enough, the vines constrict Audrey and begins dragging her in, while once again singing about supper time. Seymour returns to find her being consumed, so he pulls the jaws apart, and this is where the story diverges into one of two endings. In the theatrical release, Seymour explains that he only kept feeding the plant because he thought Audrey liked him because he was rich. She promises that she loved him from the moment that she met him, when suddenly getting interrupted by a salesman and his pitch. Patrick shares his idea of collecting trimmings from the plant and marketing miniature Audrey IIs into every household in America. Realizing that Tui's intention was always world domination, Seymour turns down the deal and confronts the vegetable. He threatens to destroy it, but it knocks him back and breaks free from the pot to reveal itself as a mean green mother from outer space. It sprouts buds that act as its own chorus of singing tendrils as the extraterrestrial takes the gun from Seymour's hands and begins firing back. After running out of ammo, Tui traps Seymour inside the flower shop and brings the whole building down onto his head. While covered in rubble, Seymour grabs a live wire and touches it to one of the vines, electrocuting Audrey II and causing it to explode. The final scene shows Seymour and his bride Audrey I having just been married and arriving at their suburban dream home. As they enter the front door, the camera focuses on a baby Audrey II in their garden, giving a smile to the camera. In the original version, however, Audrey was mortally wounded from the plant's initial attack and slowly dies in Seymour's arms. She requests to be fed to the alien so that it continues to bring Seymour good fortune, and they'll be together forever, I guess. Abiding by her dying wish, he places the love of his life into the alien's jaws, and Audrey II consumes Audrey I. Overcome with sadness, Seymour runs to the top of the building to throw himself off when the salesman stops him. Having been busy during the reshoots, the original Patrick already took a clipping of the mysterious plant a few days ago. He plans to market Audrey II's with or without Seymour's approval, so he marches inside and the fight plays out the same as before. This time Seymour gets dragged from the rubble by Audrey II, and instead of being electrocuted, it slowly eats him alive. In no time at all, the little sentient plants become a massive worldwide craze, and every family has one in their household. Many people must be convinced by the smooth-talking plants to provide them with blood because they grow so big that they take over the world. Some could even be classified as kaiju, as they're shown toppling buildings and feeding on whole trains full of passengers. The military try to resist the alien invasion, but their bullets do nothing to the buds ascending the Statue of Liberty. And the movie ends.